la la. Lisa, can you teach me Japanese? I say
Hi.
Oh. Welcome to the 2024 Much List. This is where we spotlight the top artists, songs, and creatives of the year. I'm here with all the VJs. So guys, let's talk about this year. Are we all happy with the music we got in 2024?
I think we got a lot of unexpected music this year that we didn't predict.
Such as, in general?
The pop girly resurgence, like
Yes.
the resurgence of pop.
Yep.
We got rap beef. Didn't expect that.
For the first time in a while.
Yeah, and that really like affected the entire community and like the culture. Like there've been rap beef here and there, but it's usually with those fans and people kind of hear about it. But this really like impacted a lot of people. So
To the point where J. Cole said, yo, I don't
want
want to be in it.
I don't want to be in it anymore.
You know what else? We had the highest grossing tour like ever that happened this year, Taylor Swift. We got a lot, guys. We had a lot of breakthroughs and new stuff in music this year. So I mean, let's just get this list out the gate going strong.
So the first one we have is the MuchMore. Okay, we got Sabrina Carpenter, Kendrick Lamar, Taylor Swift, and Charlie XCX.
Heavy hitters.
Kendrick had a big year. You know, he had the rap beef. He's doing the Super Bowl next year, so that really speaks to his whole like everything up until this point. He dropped a major album that I think was received super well. I haven't seen any complaints. Like there was a lot of complaints for Mr. Morale, where people were just like, it's too dense. But I think he had way more fun with this project and people can relate to it more. He had a top song, #1 song.
They not like us, they not like us, they not like us.
Big shout out to Charlie XCX because she's been making music for a cool little minute, bruh. But now everybody a brat. Everybody a brat.
Shawty's giving bratty
That
today.
is such a good point that you mentioned, Quay, because I feel like so many people this year are like, oh, I didn't know Charlie XCX until like literally this year. I'm like, yes, no, I know you know Charlie XCX. I know you know Boom Clap from like 2012. I know you know Fancy from Iggy Azalea and her clap. Like there are so many iconic Charlie XCX songs that people just didn't realize, and then until she really boomed this year. But she's been putting in work for time, so.
Yeah, so
Shout
hey,
out to her.
we giving you the flowers, Charlie, so you better come to the studio.
And speaking about giving people flowers and people that have been on it for time, Taylor Swift, guys, had the biggest year of her career. She broke so many records. She brought in billions of dollars with her concert. Insane.
Highest grossing tour ever.
Period.
Sade and I actually got to go watch that live, and one thing that people keep forgetting about is that Taylor Swift had to perform that over like 300 times, bro.
That's so...
Like even though she did that little powerful kiss, I'm like, bro, I know she hit the same spot on the lips every single time, bro.
She brought the energy every single time.
Sabrina Carpenter definitely had a huge year. Short and Sweet came out. She had the tour as well. I don't know. I just think that her whole aesthetic and her vibe really popped off this year and brought her own flavor to things.
She had like multiple viral songs this year too. It's like
Yeah.
to have one is like a big deal, but to have multiple and then your album goes viral, and then like
please.
yeah, and then it's like even if you don't listen to pop girlies, she was the one. Like you've heard of her.
I'm gonna tell you, everyone listened to Sabrina this year.
Exactly.
The next category we have, the best songs of 2024. Apata, Not Like Us, Espresso, Birds of a Feather, A Bar Song, Die With a Smile, Good Luck Babes, Touch, Texas Hold'em, Beautiful Things, $1 Million Baby, 360, I Had Some Help, Sticky, Nasty, Get It Sexy, Lose Control, Too Sweet, Mamushi, and We Can't Be Friends.
That's a big list.
They're not in any specific order also. These are just like the songs we thought were doing really well this year that really made a big impact.
What were the ones, okay, out of the 20 that really stood out to everyone?
That's what now I'm thinking.
Guys, again,
Come on, Birds of a Feather.
So good.
Yeah, Billie had a great year this year as well.
One song that I heard everywhere, and I'm now the biggest country guy, but I wasn't before, is A Bar Song.
Oh my, good Lord. Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey.
Everybody in the bar getting tipsy.
Shout out to Tommy Richmond for even dropping $1 Million Baby.
Baby was so big. Like, I really like that song. I think it'll be a timeless song that you could play in any year.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. It'll go beyond 2024.
Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan.
Facts.
That was my readable song.
at Oshiego, we got to listen to her, and she was one of the few artists that were like, she didn't even have a headline, and she had it packed at like 4 p.m.
At Oshiega, she had like this massive crowd doing her H-O-T-T-O-G. And like it felt like she was headlining. Like when you saw every single person in the crowd, even people that don't know, like when you go to a festival, some people aren't gonna know your music.
Yeah.
Like the fact that people didn't know her music or like weren't very familiar with her, but knew the dance to her song, that's crazy.
But Not Like Us was one of the biggest tracks this year. Like, this song literally took over the world. They even got accused for botting. That's how big of the song it was, man. And everybody was dancing to that song. I feel like it even got to a point where we can't even go to LA and say we're from Toronto. Like, that's how deep it is.
I actually did go to the States and I told someone I was from Toronto and they laughed in my face. I'm not even joking because it was in the height of when all this was happening. And even being there, the song was played multiple times at different parties. I would walk down the street, the cars are bumping it. Like that song was, I know we're here in Canada, like obviously it's not gonna be played as much with the controversy, but they were bumping it in the States and I felt attacked.
It got so great. Like, they bump it at NBA games. They're bumping it at all these sports games and stuff. Like,
I saw K-pop idols dancing to the song.
Got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, wop, wop.
This year we had a lot of really cool collabs. We got Bruno Mars and Rosé Apathy. We got Charlie XCX, Billie Eilish, Guess. Then we got Fortnite, Taylor Swift, Post Malone. We got Post Malone again with Morgan Wallen. I Had Some Help, and then Like That, Metro Boomin, Future, Kendrick Lamar. I Had Some Help. This is kind of Post Malone's first time really delving into country. He released his first like country album, and I think having Morgan Wallen on that song really solidified his place. He's also been like that song's been nominated for a bunch of like country categories. We got Guess with Billie Eilish and Charlie XCX. That was a fun song. Like the video was also really fun. And this is like Billie Eilish doesn't do collabs, so that's why I feel like it was a big deal.
Yeah, such a fun song that I feel like people weren't taking too seriously. Like this.
Guess the color of your underwear is a crazy bar too.
Yeah.
Black.
I think because it was because it was kind of scandalous.
Cream.
Steady red, lace.
Teddy's wearing lace.
yo, he's not.
Well, how do you know?
How do you know?
How do you know? We also had Fortnite. That is, I think that won Video of the Year at the MTV Music Awards and several other awards. It's nominated for a bunch of Grammys. It debuted at #1 on Billboard. And then we had Apathy. That one's at like 600 million views
650 million or something like that.
I
guys.
love that one. So catchy, and to have those two together, those artists too, like I don't think it's something that I would have envisioned for this year. Yeah. But like they worked together so well. The music video, like everything about it, so good.
They're gonna
Such
touch a
good
Billy for real.
It's gonna, yeah, 100%.
I also don't even know if people expected Rosé's solo career to boom off like that big. Hers was one of the biggest. Like this is one of the biggest songs.
Yeah, I
period.
think it's bigger. She's doing better, I think, than Lisa and Jenny's solo stuff that came out. Yeah, it is.
Yo, credit to Bruno too though. Bruno is a chameleon with it. Every time he collabs with someone, you're like kind of confused, and then you're just like, damn.
You're like, yeah,
collabs
this makes sense.
are
After
so
you
good.
listen to it, you're like, yeah, obviously.
Die With a Smile was also a good collab. And then obviously Like That with Metro Boomin, Future, and Kendrick Lamar. I think that one just came out of left field. Like that, when you see the track list, you didn't see the features on it. I don't know about this new thing people are doing. I don't like it. But when Kendrick came on it and all of a sudden was coming for Drake and J. Cole's neck, I think that surprised and took everyone by storm because we've never seen a clash like that. Like that was the start of the whole beef. And then when you hear that, you just know that someone's coming for you. Something's going down.
Okay, so the next category is Best Album. Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet, Charlie XCX, Brat, Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft, Beyonce, Cowboy Carter, and Tyler the Creator's Chromacopia. Big album.
Big albums. There was
And
a
it
lot.
was so hard to narrow it down
It was
to these
so
ones.
hard.
So
You know what
hard.
I'm already gonna know from the comments right away? Where's Taylor Swift? Listen, she's on Mount MuchMore. We know she's the top in everything, but she can't take everything. We know the Tortured Poets department was big.
I feel like people are gonna be like, where's Taylor Swift and why is Beyonce on here? I'm for Beyonce though.
I'm for Beyonce.
Cowboy Carter was fire though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not even Beyonce.
That's what I'm
Cowboy Carter
saying.
was great. Not to mention her breaking into also the country. It was a big year for country. The fact if Beyonce is in a genre, you know it's a big year for that genre.
Cowboy Carter, like even her Renaissance tour, like same thing, like similar to how we saw like the Eras tour, like where people dressed up and stuff like that. It was so nice to see.
For me, what makes a good album or something that brings an album, kind of knocks it up to #1 is world building. And I think Cowboy Carter definitely did that. Like there's all these Easter eggs that you can point back to Renaissance or like what she's gonna do in the future. And then also just taking the risk and going into country, like that takes a lot. So, and just the production of it, how everything's pieced together. Like it's one of those albums you have to listen from front to back and it all makes sense as you listen to it that way.
Yo, speaking of world building, I think Brat, the whole entire world was built on Brat this year, literally. You know why I think this album did so well? Because it was more relatable. It just felt more authentic and genuine, if that makes sense. It wasn't like trying to be something that it wasn't. Comparing that even to Short and Sweet, for instance, like those are two different vibes that I think both nailed their target audiences.
If you can rebrand Grinch Green to make it Brat, in my eyes, you won. You won. Like now when I look at this color, I don't think of the Grinch anymore. I think of Charlie XCX and Brat.
And it's Christmas time.
And
It's holiday time.
right? And another thing, I want to jump off of what you said, Sade, about world building. Even like in this world, as soon as I see brands taking note of trends and like music and start like putting their spin on it, I know that like that piece, like or that art, like won. Like when Drake did the pregnant ladies. Was it certified? Yeah, CLB. Yeah, exactly. When we started seeing like when you see Taylor Swift and everyone like hopping on it, like they obviously see like there's something there. When Brat was happening, everything was green.
Yeah.
Everything was Bratified and people were using Brat to literally describe as an adjective.
As an adjective.
Like, no one's gonna ever forget Brat Summer. You're gonna remember that was 2024 was Brat Summer.
Exactly. And I don't want to not give Tyler his flowers because I think this was out of this list. Kind of like the one that swooped kind of a little bit under people's radar, but might be one of the best albums of this year.
I think it's tough because some of these albums they released earlier in the year, so they had a time to kind of seep through. But I think Chromacopia is one of those albums you do have to listen to over in order to catch some of the messages he's trying to convey. And again, he had the world building. He invited us into this world, and I think this is his like Mr. Morale type album.
Yes.
Yeah, he got really vulnerable on this one and discussed a lot of topics that I think was really hard for him to convey. So,
Shout out Tyler.
shout out to Tyler. It's getting sticky.
What about Short and Sweet, guys? I think I liked every single. It's hard for me to almost like every single song on an album. I liked it.
Billy blew it out of the water, man. I love that album. No skips.
Yeah, like you already know what it is with Billie, man. She does this. Like, what else do you want us to say? She does this, man.
Her and Phineas.
She almost needs no explanation.
Yeah.
Like, it's just.
I think we all like collectively really like
Said
this
like
album.
Billy's album. Throw it
But
on there.
also, like, just a shout out to Billie for making hard music still. Like, you've been in the game. Like, you're still dropping bangers, bro. I rate you, Billie. Next up, we got the best producers. Now, first thing is, shout out to the producers because if all these songs were a cappella, some of them would be trash, I ain't gonna lie. The producers be making some heat. We gotta be showing more love to these producers. Jacob Collier, Metro Boomin, Dem Joints, Jack Antonoff, and Now, Mustard obviously goated, man. He dropped some of the craziest songs just because of the beat. Not Like Us wouldn't have been big if it wasn't for that beat.
True. Yeah.
And even on GNX, one of the biggest songs is TV Off, and it's because Mustard he must have put some Dijon on that one, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of Dijon. But the crazy thing is, on GNX, that boy Jack was on it too. Producing crazy, like he had a lot of songs on there.
We know the biggest one, Taylor Swift.
Sabrina Carpenter as well. Now, I'm low-key gonna pass this part to Sade. You gotta talk to me about Dem Joints.
Dem Joints actually did work with Eminem on his album, The Death of Slim Shady. So Dem Joints works a lot in K-pop. Like not only did he work with Eminem, but he did work with aespa this year, and they had a huge, huge year on Taemin's project and ITZY's project. So he's been working.
That's a lot.
And I think he also worked with Anderson .Paak this year. He had a independent film that came out called K-Pops. So I know Dem Jones helped him a lot with putting that together.
And then I saw also within my music that producers I worked with also worked with in K-Pops, like Dim Joints, who produces a lot of stuff for Stray Kids and numerous groups, but he also helped with the original music in the movie as well.
Metro, obviously, he's been a goated producer from
long
time, and just shout out to him for just having such a creative brain, like to keep making a fire beat after fire beat after fire beat. I remember when he even dropped that album, like Heroes and Villains, I was like, bro, that was insane. And he's still doing that with Future, like, bro. And like that, man, it's the thing with producers is if you can have an iconic sound, you really know you did something. You really cooked up something. So whenever someone says, you know exactly what, you know exactly who it is.
Even
bro.
his tags are iconic.
Oh, facts. If your Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? And obviously, big shout out to my boy Jacob Collier. That's my geyser, bro. It's crazy because, yo.
If you guys don't know Jacob Collier, get to know him.
Get to know him for real.
Yeah, if you don't know.
He's probably the most different producer out of like everyone on
Very
this
underrated.
list because he really be producing some like
On stage,
on
with
stage.
crowds, with audience members. We went to his concert, and guys, this man was harmonizing the audience. And you know that in an audience full of thousands of people, a lot of them probably can't sing, but he made the whole entire place sound like angelic. Like it was,
the boys producing us.
yes.
We about to be on the track.
On the spot though is crazy.
That's so cool.
Yeah, Jacob, shout out to you. I hope you get more love in 2025,
Yeah.
bro. And come produce something out here, man.
Yes.
You can probably produce us 5 right here.
Yep.
Facts.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
so good.
live?
He's like a
Amazing.
conductor.
Live?
Yes, exactly. That's
This man's a
what it is.
conductor, bro.
Okay, so next category is top 5 visionaries. Now we're talking about the artist behind the artist's art. Oh. This can include many different mediums like album art, single art, just cover art in general, alongside music videos, just art direction. As Sade was saying, world building, so that includes basically any graphic or any kind of like 3D stuff that you might see. These are some of the creatives that really caught our eye this year. So Famid made the cut last year on Much List, but he just deserves to be on it again. So he's made 20 lyric videos for SZA's album. Okay, he makes lyric videos, he makes animations, he did stuff for Big Sean. He's just really, really good, and he's Canadian.
Oh,
And he's so young. The next one is Haneen Kawan. Look at some of her art, guys.
Damn.
She's a digital, yeah, she creates and she has like this really like canvas paint style art, which I think is really, really cool. And then the next one I want to talk about is Louise. He's a DOP, so a director of photography, and he was actually behind a lot of the visuals for Tyler's album, which we love the visuals for. So have a look at some of his work.
I feel like everyone can
So-
recognize it like by the visuals are very striking.
He's so cool. Like
Yeah.
his work is just incredible. It's like, again, if you can become a world building creative and like you can have a hand at that, I think that's so cool. Ali, she does these really, really cool, she's like a hyper realism painter. And like she made this.
That's a painting?
It's a painting. And like, it's insane. Like some of her work, I just go through her
people are
Instagram.
Crazy.
Right?
How the heck?
Look.
Yeah, like, it's like, why do we need AI when we have amazing creators?
But these artists are just so incredible, and it blows my mind, especially when they're working with other artists too, because I'm like, how did you guys come up with that? Like, you guys are just disgusting.
Beautiful. That's
Like,
amazing.
who gave you the right?
Who gave
Right
you
to
the
be so
right?
good at what
Freaking
you do.
audacity.
And the last one is Mahilo. I know Mahilo made the cut last year as well,
You're a
alongside
goat, you're a
Famid,
goat.
but you're a GOAT. You deserve to be on this list again. Teddy, you actually spoke to his brother, Dragon,
Yes.
who's a director, earlier this year.
One thing I'll say about Dragon is he brought his team up. So he had a vision of what he wanted to do, and everyone that is with him years later are his friends.
Right.
Okay, well that's really cool to learn that everyone here knew each other since high school, and hey, to make a strong and organic and genuine team, I think that's part of the recipe, right?
Not only is he talented and a visionary,
Yeah.
but he's bringing his friends up with him. So he's,
Oh, that's special.
yeah.
Yeah, Mahilo just like always, I think, takes it to the next level with his graphic design stuff. I know he works a lot with Lil Yachty. But I know, speaking amongst other creatives and other graphic designers, he's a name that's always brought up, and everyone's like, oh, I look up to him so much, and I just feel like he deserves to be on the list because he does inspire so many other graphic designers, including myself. He just has such like a look to his stuff, and I'm like, every time he posts, I'm like, I need to be better.
Inspiring people is part of being a visionary, I think. I think him even just being an inspiration for you is telling of like the type of
and not just me, he's like an inspiration to so many graphic designers. Like any graphic designer I talk to knows Milo.
Yeah. Well, now as we sweep into the next category, guys, let's talk about our top Canadians. Obviously, we got to give love to the Canadian artists. That's what we're here for.
Oh, Canada.
Okay. We've got Jessie Reyes, Tate McRae, Nemesis, Mustafa the Poet, and Josh Ross. We love every single one of these. Big one though that stood out, I think, this year specifically with her tour was Tate McRae. I think this is the biggest year she's had so far. She blew up.
Bro, she was right here, bro. First word.
Okay. Scoop me.
Oh no, you're supposed to tell me.
Big salute to Tay for real, cause like she's consistently putting in that work. I remember when I saw her at Danforth Music Hall, man. She was literally just dancing on stage, vibing out.
But now she's like grown. Like she is dancing, she's singing, she's really bringing. She's I think like the epitome of the pop girl and like being able to. She has everything. She's got the whole package. She's the whole package.
You know what's also crazy though? I remember one time I was in New York with my cousins and they just ended up playing Tate in the car. I'm like, yo, that's Tate McRae, that's my dog. And they're like, oh, why? And I'm like, bro, she's Canadian. They're like, what? So people don't even know that Tate's Canadian.
And also she's going on tour again in 2025. Like she's still on tour and announced another album and tour next year. So
she's bringing that like Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, like combined for this generation. I feel like she's that for this generation.
Who else, guys? Jessie Reyes. She had a collab this year with Lil Wayne.
Yeah, she was on tour this year too. I think Jessie Reyes is just always going to be one of those names that when you think Canadian music, she's always going to come up, and she's just made so many strides in the industry that women. For women especially, and I think a lot of Canadian artists look to her to be like, you know, the template or the blueprint. Like imagine working with Wayne, working with Eminem, like major names in hip hop and black also. So
she's definitely a staple in Canada. Like you said, I don't think we can mention a list without Jessie Reyes. All right, and Nemesis.
Low-key, Nemesis is from Milton. Just gonna drop that. Yeah, she went to school with my brother. She's been really, really talented. She used to do talent shows back in the day. I don't even know if she wants this info to be out.
You're like dropping some gems.
She used to do a bunch of talent shows. My brother was kind of friends with her, and he was always like, oh, this girl, she's like such a good singer. And I remember finding out about her way back. And she's so good. She puts out like music that really, really touches your soul. She has like, she has meaning and messaging behind like everything she puts out, which I think is amazing. And for her to be like the only hijabi on this list, might I say, so fire. Such like, that's so powerful.
I ain't gonna lie, like my Spotify rap was a little messed up because she wasn't on it. I'm like, bro, I be bumping her song Criminal a lot.
Mustafa the Poet.
He dropped his album this year, and I know I saw it like posted up everywhere. Everyone's like giving him love for being from the city. He was on Metro's album too. I love that song with 21 Savage. So
to see Omar Apollo, he came out as a special guest with Daniel Caesar, and you can see like their brotherhood.
Yo, man, honestly, Omar is single-handedly one of the most important people in my life.
I feel like whenever he comes on stage, like everyone just feels calm. Like I don't know.
Like you stop and listen, like the place is quiet and you just want to hear him sing. And he always has like a message that speaks to your soul, and I think that's something,
And we can't talk about this year's music without talking about country. Josh Ross.
Yeah, we gotta include, guys, country took over the world this year.
Josh Ross put in work. When I was at the CCMAs, man, that boy was sweeping awards, man. Like I was, like he was on, man, he was singing Want This Beer, you know what I'm saying? Like he was going crazy, bro. Like Josh is absolutely a guy because being in there, when you're around all these Canadian country artists, you could see that like everyone was really bigging him up, everyone showing him love because he had a really strong year this year, man. He was dropping them bangers, dropping that heat, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Josh, man.
So next we got top K-pop. And I know this is like, a lot of these songs are up for debate, but I feel like these artists really did have a big year. Like aespa swept at the Mama Awards in Korea. And also these songs are songs that kind of even speak to our audience, that kind of moved over to the West and globally, not just in Korea. Supernova was super big. I know a lot of people, like I heard that song on TikTok and then I continued to hear it through people who I know that don't listen to K-pop are singing it and didn't even realize that it was a K-pop song. They just know the chorus, Supernova. Next we have Islet, and I think they probably had one of the bigger songs too, Magnetic. This is their debut song. And
What?
it
That was
hit,
their debut song?
Yeah, their debut song. Got on Billboard Hot 100 for a K-pop group. For that to be their first song and to get on the charts is a huge, huge deal. And it's super catchy and I really like that song. And we did mention the song before, but Aputsu, this collab is super big, and even Bruno Mars made it to the Mama Awards. He showed up.
지금까지
Bruno.
로제였습니다.
감사합니다.
And then we have Jimin from BTS. He released Who. That one also hit on the Billboard charts, and it stayed on the charts for several weeks. And it's great to see, BTS doing their solo stuff. Jungkook had a big year last year, so we're seeing the other members come out with music this year. I'm gonna put Lisa's Rockstar at the 5th spot, but I really think this one could be interchanged with a lot of other artists and their songs. Like Jennie's Mantra did really well. 17 had a huge year. I know IU did really well on the charts in Korea, but I'm more so talking about who did well globally. Baby Monster had some major tracks like Sheesh, but let us know who you think should be in the 5th spot. I'm gonna say Lisa's Rockstar because I think all the VJs like it.
Lisa, can you teach me Japanese? I say
Hi.
All right, moving on, next category, a big one. We got Breakthrough Artist, and this year's Breakthrough Artist that we have collectively decided is, drumroll please, Sabrina Carpenter.
This one was a hard pick. This is one we were going back and forth with a little bit. There were like 5 artists. We had to get on a call. We were like, hey.
No, because Sabrina, honestly, guys, and for those who don't know, if Short and Sweet's like the first album project that you've heard of her, it ain't the first one. So she's also been around for time. She put in her work since the Disney days. She's been making music since then, and it's really nice to see that she kind of flourished and kind of really branded herself this year. Like you see her and she has an aesthetic, she has a vibe, she has something that appeals to the pop girlies, and it's just really, it's cool to watch.
This was the year though, just like you said, she's been making music for a minute, but this is the year that she said, okay, man, everything about it started going crazy now. Yeah. And the thing that was great also about her is that she didn't stop once the momentum started moving for her, right? Like Espresso drop, banger, she's making moves. Next thing you know, please right after that. You know what I'm saying? She didn't wait like 7 years or something to drop that. She just did that, hey, let's drop it now.
Then Taste, the music video that she did with her and Jenna Ortega was super cute, and that was fun to kind of see a cameo. Like she honestly nailed it with all of her biggest songs. All of the music videos were fired. Her whole tour was fun. She's got the whole pinup look and her little outfits every time. She really did good this year. And I think also that's what made her the breakthrough artist this year, is that I think she solidified her voice, her look, her brand. It's like now you know her and what entails Sabrina Carpenter when you say her name.
This part, I always just find very inspiring. Like if you're an artist and you haven't broken through yet, you might break through next year.
There's someone out there right now grinding.
Right, exactly.
The next one we got is top 5 to watch. We got Doechii, we got Kayam, Hanumankind, 4 Bats, and Cat's Eye. So these are the top 5 that we decided that you need to watch. I'm a huge fan of Cat's Eye. I watched a documentary. There's something about when you watch a documentary and you see their come up. Again, we just came off about someone working hard. They went through a whole audition process. There was so many of them, and some of them had to work on their facial expressions, and some of them weren't good dancers and singers. And then you see them getting polished. And there's something about, I'm getting goosebumps now. There's something about that that made me.
He actually got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Doechii, man. She has like this persona that she clicks into, and I love when artists do that. I actually like kind of discovered her during Tiny Desk a little bit, like more of her music, and then I went to listen to her album, so good. And she has that, and I was like, oh my God, she's bringing it back, and I hope—
Like an alter ego.
Yeah, an alter ego where it's just like a high pitch, like kind of like, I don't know, I love it, and I think that she's someone to watch for next year, 100%.
Her knowing who she is and like knowing that she's being very honest in her music, and even her project is nominated for a Grammy and it's a mixtape, so
Wow.
that's a big deal.
Wow. Feels like she was dropped from like another planet, like polished and done. Like she conquered Jupiter, she conquered Venus, and now she's on Earth. Like she's like perfect.
Like the reason why they're on the top 5 to watch is because all these guys are unique with their music. They sound like something you haven't heard before. That's why people like Four Bats has that unique type singing, you know what I'm saying? Like Teddy and I, we reacted to that and we're just like, damn, this guy's voice is like, damn, OD a little bit, we ain't heard some of that before, you know what I'm saying? And then also Hanuman, bro, the way he raps, it's like big stepper, but it's different from a Juicy J who has that type of flow, but it doesn't sound the way Hanuman does. Like, bro, Big Dogs was a big track, dog.
I actually want to talk about Kayam too. He's like, he blends. I came across him on like TikTok, and then I went to his Instagram and I started listening to his music, and I couldn't stop because I feel like it blends South Asian music into like vibes of Afro beats kind of, and like, and it's like also French for some reason. So it's like a lot. I was on his Instagram, I click his story, I'm like, what's he doing? What's he dropping? He's like, I have an exam today, guys. And I'm like, you're still in school?
What?
Like,
education first.
Again, going back to like the making, like it just trips me out when these artists that are on like the top 5 to watch list for next year, I'm like, okay, they're kind of just starting out, but then when I hear them, they sound super smooth, and like everything about them is just like, there's no edges, like there's no rough edges, things that they need to work on, it feels like. And then to be like, oh yeah, they're actually still on the top 5 to watch. They haven't gone to their max potential. I'm like, what is happening?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope you pass your exam, my boy, because we need more.
I hope you pass your exam, but
music.
Drop music tonight.
Damn, that's it.
Wow, guys. Wow. Okay, I mean, that was a long list.
We're covering every genre for y'all, all right? So we're trying to give y'all a list with like every single genre. People got their rap list. People got their country list. We got the everything list.
Of course.
That's the much list.
That's the much list. Congrats. It's a wrap. Thank you guys for watching, and be sure to let us know down in the comments below who you guys would put as your top artists and songs of 2024. So be sure to debate that with us, and we'll see you next year again for the much list in 2025.
Bye.
Much love.